What if I told you that there exists a book, hidden for centuries, whispered about in secret societies, revered by mystics and feared by kings, that claims to reveal the very names of God? Not metaphors, not symbols, but the actual vibrational keys said to open the gates of heaven, command the unseen forces of the universe, and align the human soul with divine truth. Would you dare to read it? And if you did, would you be prepared for the consequences? Throughout history, humanity has understood the mysterious power of names. To know a name was never just to identify, it was to hold a thread of control, a spark of intimacy, a secret link to the essence of the thing itself. In the ancient world, names were spells, talismans, and bridges between the visible and the invisible. To name a god was to invite its presence. To misname it was to risk catastrophe. And so the idea of a book, a single text that contains the secret names of the divine, has lingered on the edge of myth and reality. Some say it was written by angels and delivered to prophets. Others claim it was hidden in the vaults of Kabbalists or concealed in the libraries of the desert monasteries. There are even whispers that fragments of it surface in the Jewish mystical tradition, in Sufi invocations, and in the cryptic writings of Renaissance magicians. But what exactly does it mean to know the secret names of God? Why would such knowledge be guarded, encrypted, and shrouded in so much mystery? And more importantly, how could such a book affect your life here and now in the 21st century? In this video, we will journey into the heart of this mystery. We will trace the hidden history of divine names, from the ineffable Tetragrammaton of the Hebrew tradition to the sacred syllables of Eastern mantras. We will explore the philosophy of vibration and sound, why mystics believe that pronouncing the true name of God could shift the cosmos itself, and why these names were often hidden behind layers of allegory. We will also ask the most dangerous question of all. If such names exist, are we, modern seekers, meant to speak them? Or are they like fire, capable of illuminating the soul, but just as capable of consuming the unprepared? So stay with me, because what you are about to hear is not just another story of dusty scrolls and ancient secrets. This is the story of the most dangerous knowledge ever whispered. The words that claim to bridge the distance between human and divine. The book that claims to reveal the secret names of God. To understand the mystery of a book that reveals the secret names of God, we must first step into the ancient world, a world where language was not merely a tool for communication, but a bridge between heaven and earth. Across cultures, the ancients believed that words were not arbitrary. They carried vibration, essence, and power. In ancient Egypt, the god Ptah was said to create the world by speaking it into being. In the Hebrew tradition, the book of Genesis describes God saying, "Let there be light." And through the utterance itself, light emerged from the void. The spoken word was not just sound, it was creation. The Jewish mystical tradition, the Kabbalah, preserves some of the most famous references to divine names. Here we encounter the Tetragrammaton, Yod, He, Vav, He, 4 mysterious letters representing the unpronounceable name of God. Rabbis warned that this name could not be uttered casually. It was whispered only once a year by the high priest in the innermost chamber of the temple, the Holy of Holies. To misuse it was not only sacrilege, it was thought to unleash forces beyond comprehension. But this reverence for divine names was not limited to Judaism. In the Islamic Sufi tradition, seekers chanted the 99 names of Allah, each one embodying an aspect of the infinite, from Al-Rahman, the Merciful, to Al-Haq, the Truth. These names were not recited mechanically. They were meditated upon, invoked with breath and heart, as if each syllable tuned the soul like an instrument aligning itself to divine harmony. In India, the ancient sages preserved the science of mantras, sacred syllables believed to hold cosmic resonance. Om, the primal sound, was said to echo the vibration of creation itself. Just as a string can vibrate and set another string in motion, chanting certain syllables was thought to align the human being with universal frequencies. And then there are the lesser-known traditions, the Gnostics of early Christianity, who spoke of secret words that could guide the soul past the guardians of the afterlife. The Hermetic magicians of the Renaissance, who inscribed complex names of angels and spirits in their grimoires. Even the medieval alchemists, who saw divine names as formulas hidden within geometry and symbol. Throughout history, rulers and religious authorities understood the power such knowledge could hold. If names are keys, then whoever holds them controls the locks. This is why in many traditions, sacred names were encrypted, hidden, or even forbidden. The book that revealed them openly would be as dangerous as giving fire to those who had never seen flame. Philosophically, the idea rests on one simple principle. The universe itself is made of vibration. Matter is frozen sound. Form is condensed resonance. To speak the true name of something is to strike the exact note that holds its existence together. To speak the name of God, then, is to touch the root chord of reality itself. And so we find ourselves circling back to the mystery. Could there truly be a text, a book, that holds these keys? And if so, who wrote it? Was it the work of prophets, angels, or daring seekers who risked their lives to record what most dared not utter? In the next part, we will begin to unravel this question as we step into the core explanation, what these names mean, how they are said to function, and why they were guarded with such fear and reverence.
When we speak of the secret names of God, we are not simply referring to a list of exotic syllables recorded in a forgotten manuscript. The true mystery lies in the philosophy of vibration, resonance, and identity. Think of a musical instrument. Strike a single string, and if another string nearby is tuned to the same frequency, it begins to vibrate in sympathy. This is resonance. Mystics believed the same principle applied to the universe itself. Every being, every force, every star and stone carries its own vibrational essence. Names, when pronounced correctly, were thought to resonate with that essence. To call upon the name of God, then, was to align the microcosm, the human soul, with the macrocosm, the infinite. The names were not mere labels. They were frequencies, passwords to higher states of being, bridges to realms beyond ordinary perception. Take, for example, the Tetragrammaton, the four-letter name of God in the Hebrew tradition. Scholars say it is unpronounceable, but mystics insist that it was never meant to be spoken as ordinary language. Rather, it was a formula, a pattern of breath and vibration. Each letter corresponded to an element: Yod to fire, He to water, Vav to air, and the final He to earth. To utter it with pure intention was to bring the universe into balance within oneself. Other traditions echo the same principle. In Sufism, chanting the divine names was more than prayer. It was a technology of the soul. Each repetition of Al-Hayy, the ever-living, was believed to awaken vitality. Each whisper of Al-Salam, the peace, invoked serenity in the heart. The secret was not in the word itself, but in the vibration it carried when breathed with devotion. Even in Hindu practice, mantras are seen as vehicles of the mind. The word mantra itself means instrument of thought. Reciting a mantra is not simply speaking, it is striking a chord in the hidden architecture of the universe. The syllables Om Namah Shivaya, for example, are said to resonate with the cosmic principle of destruction and rebirth, clearing away illusion so that truth may shine. So what might the book that reveals the secret names of God actually contain? Perhaps it is not a dictionary of divine words, but a map of resonance, a coded manual showing which sounds align the human being with which aspects of the divine. To those who understood it, the book would not be read in silence. It would be sung, breathed, vibrated, each word unlocking a different state of consciousness. And here lies the danger, because just as sound can heal, it can also harm. A surgeon's scalpel can save a life, or take one. Likewise, the sacred names could open the doors of illumination, or unleash forces the seeker was unprepared to face. This is why throughout history, such knowledge was often hidden behind layers of allegory. Only those purified by discipline and wisdom were permitted to glimpse the words themselves. To make sense of this, we might use a modern analogy: electricity. For most of human history, the spark of lightning was a mystery. Today, we harness it to power cities. But in the hands of a child, a bare wire can kill. Divine names, the mystics say, are like electricity. They are raw power, and power requires responsibility. Thus, the book that reveals them was never meant as a casual curiosity. It was a manual for transformation and a test for the seeker. Would one use the names to command, to manipulate, to dominate? Or would one invoke them as keys to surrender, humility, and union with the divine? This is the first secret. The names themselves are not magic words in the fairy tale sense. They are vibrational doorways, invitations to align with realities greater than our own. The book, then, is less about information and more about initiation.
If the first half of our journey showed that the secret names of God are vibrational doorways, the second half asks the harder question: what happens when those doorways open? Mystical traditions across the world warn us: approach with reverence. The book that reveals these names is not simply a text, it is a mirror. It reflects not only the divine, but also the state of the one who dares to speak. If the seeker is pure, the names illuminate. If the seeker is corrupt, the same names burn like fire. This dual nature explains why so many spiritual authorities kept the knowledge guarded. For the Kabbalists, the names were considered too sacred for the uninitiated. In their writings, one often finds cryptic substitutions, letters inverted, syllables broken apart, so that only the adept, trained in spiritual purification, could reconstruct them. They believed that to pronounce a divine name with ego was like trying to control lightning with bare hands. Similarly, in Sufi practice, the repetition of God's names, dhikr, was always paired with humility. The goal was not to command the infinite, but to dissolve into it. A seeker who invoked the names with arrogance was said to find nothing but emptiness echoing back. Only the heart surrendered could resonate with the true vibration. But there is another, more subtle danger. Words, after all, shape perception. If a person clings too tightly to the form of the name, they risk mistaking the symbol for the reality it points to. The map is not the territory. The name is not the named. Mystics often warned, the moment you think you possess the name of God, you have already lost it. For the infinite cannot be contained within human syllables. This is why many traditions insisted that the highest name of God is silence. Beyond all mantras, beyond all chants, even beyond the Tetragrammaton itself, lies a reality that no tongue can pronounce. The book may contain names, yes, but its deepest teaching, is that every name is a doorway into the nameless. And yet, the paradox is that these names do work. They shift consciousness, they focus intention, they align the heart. How can something finite lead to the infinite? The answer lies in resonance. Just as a ladder is not the sky, yet it allows you to climb toward it, so too are the divine names instruments of ascent. They are not the destination, they are the path. Consider the story of a medieval mystic who was said to heal the sick by whispering a single word. Witnesses swore that when he uttered the secret name, the sick would rise as if new breath entered their lungs. But he himself warned, "It is not I who heals, it is the name, and the name heals only through the one who gave it." Another legend tells of a seeker who found a fragment of the book in a ruined monastery. When he tried to invoke the name inscribed upon the page, he claimed the air itself vibrated, the walls trembled, and he felt as if the universe was collapsing into silence. Terrified, he never repeated the attempt. To him, the experience was not a miracle, but a warning. The names are alive. So we see the complexity. The names of God are both power and paradox. They are meant to be used, yet never possessed. They grant access, yet demand surrender. They can elevate or destroy depending on the hands and the heart that wields them. Ultimately, the secret names are not about controlling the divine, but about transforming the self. They are passwords not to command heaven, but to unlock the hidden chambers of the soul. The book that reveals them, then, is not just a catalog of words. It is an initiatory guide, a compass pointing inward, daring the seeker to face themselves as much as the infinite. And so, the great question remains, if such a book fell into your hands, would you dare to open it? Would you dare to speak the words aloud, knowing that in so doing, you are not summoning some external force, but awakening something vast, ancient, and eternal within yourself?
Practical application. Now we come to the question every seeker quietly asks. If the secret names of God are real, how can I use them in my own spiritual life, without danger, without arrogance, without illusion? The first step is to understand that the purpose of divine names is not control, but alignment. When you chant, whisper, or meditate upon them, you are not commanding the universe to obey you. You are tuning yourself to its deeper harmony. Think of it as placing your own stringed instrument into tune with the cosmic orchestra. 1. The power of breath. Before uttering any sacred word, the breath must be stilled, deepened, purified. In nearly every mystical tradition, breathing was the foundation. The Hebrew word ruach means both breath and spirit. In Sanskrit, prana is the life force carried on the breath. To prepare, take slow, conscious breaths. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and feel the body relax. Without this, the words are empty shells. 2. Begin with simplicity. The most profound practices often begin with the simplest syllables. One does not need to chase forbidden names hidden in dusty manuscripts. Instead, start with what the sages have always offered. Chanting Om, for instance, is said to bring the mind into resonance with creation itself. In the Islamic tradition, softly repeating Allah with each heartbeat can draw the seeker inward. Even in the Jewish practice, meditating on the letters of the Tetragrammaton, not spoken out loud but visualized, can open the heart. 3. Focus on intention, not perfection. It is not necessary to pronounce a word with flawless accuracy to benefit. What matters most is the state of your mind and heart. If you whisper a sacred name with devotion, humility, and longing for truth, you resonate with its essence. But if you utter it with ego or curiosity alone, you may feel nothing, or worse, disturb your own energy. The intention is the true key that unlocks the door. 4. Use names as mirrors. When chanting or meditating on a divine name, observe what it awakens within you. If you repeat peace, do you notice restlessness rising in the mind? If so, the practice is showing you what blocks peace within. The name becomes a mirror, reflecting the hidden corners of the soul. Approach it with honesty, and let the process transform you. 5. Combine with silence. Mystics often insisted that the highest use of divine names was to lead the seeker into silence. Chant, yes. Whisper, yes. But then fall quiet. Let the vibration echo inward and rest in the stillness that follows. That silence is the true sanctuary where the infinite dwells. 6. Daily practice. Try this simple exercise. Choose one sacred name, Om, Allah, Shalom, Amen, or any that resonates deeply with you. For 7 days, set aside 5 minutes. Sit in silence, breathe slowly, and repeat the name with devotion. Notice how your inner state shifts over time. Do not seek visions or miracles. Simply allow the sound to polish the mirror of your soul. 7. Respect the mystery. Finally, approach this work with reverence. Do not chase the most secret names as if they were treasures to be collected. Remember, even the most common names of God, when repeated with love, can open infinite doors. The power lies not in the rarity of the word, but in the purity of the heart that speaks it. By following these principles, you engage with the Book of Divine Names in the way it was always intended, not as a manual of control, but as a path of inner transformation. Each name is a seed. Nurture it with attention, breath, and devotion, and it blossoms into a tree of light within you.
We began this journey with a bold question. Could there truly exist a book that reveals the secret names of God? Along the way, we discovered that the mystery is not about ink on a page, but vibration in the soul. From the Tetragrammaton of Hebrew mysticism to the mantras of India and the 99 names of Allah in Sufi devotion, the message has always been the same. Words are more than words. They are bridges between the human and the divine. The ancients guarded these names so carefully not because they feared knowledge, but because they understood its gravity. A divine name is not a curiosity to be collected or a formula to be exploited. It is a mirror. It reveals the state of the one who speaks it. To utter such a name with arrogance is to strike a dissonant chord in the symphony of creation. To speak it with humility is to tune oneself to the harmony of the infinite. And perhaps this is the greatest secret of all. The book that reveals the names of God has always been within us. Every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of silence is a page in that book. When we chant, when we pray, when we fall into stillness, we are reading those pages. The sacred names are not just written in forgotten scrolls. They are inscribed in the fabric of existence itself. So I leave you with this reflection. The true power of a name lies not in the sound it makes, but in the transformation it awakens. To seek the names of God is to seek alignment, surrender, and illumination. Whether you whisper Am, chant Amen, or simply rest in silence, you are touching the edge of the ineffable. Perhaps you do not need to wait for a hidden book to be uncovered. Perhaps you already hold the first page. The question is, will you dare to read it, not with your eyes, but with your soul?